It's that time again. Joran wants to call. You sure can. Like a few other ideas in this book.
Hey,
Hey, how's it going?
pretty alright. How
That's
are you
good.
doing? Are you okay?
Yeah, feeling a bit better already now that I'm talking to my buddy old pal.
What's up? What's wrong?
I don't know. I felt okay earlier. It's just one of those things that just kind of hits, and there's no specific reason for it. It just happens, and it stinks.
Yeah. I get.
Oh,
Oh boy,
what happened?
I dropped something. But no,
Oh,
it's
was
fine
it your
again.
balls finally?
Got him. Epic.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. It's one of those things where it's like a chain reaction where it comes out of nowhere and starts making you think about everything in your life, but it doesn't start from anything. It just kind of happened. I don't know. I don't know why. I don't know.
But now I'm here.
I mean, my diet's shit, and I never see the sun, and I don't do anything, and I'm not earning enough money. But that's probably nothing to do with it. I don't know.
I feel ya.
I'm just finishing writing this little idea I have in my book of short film ideas. But before I do, how about you start off telling me yours?
Sure. My idea is called Phantom Limbs.
You've told me
And
about this. Well, you've given me a little bit about this.
oh, did I?
Yeah. It's like a revenge story about a girl who loses a limb. And that,
Oh, then I have told you
and I
about
said
it.
something
Yeah.
like, call it ghost leg or something.
Oh, that's right.
Even though
Yeah.
it's about her arm. I don't know.
Yeah, no, it's about a girl who gets attacked and she loses her hand because someone cuts off her hand with a big old kitchen knife,
Scary.
and then she has a little stump and she doesn't like it, but then she realizes that the hand is still there. It's just a phantom limb now, but she can still do everything with it. It's just a lot stronger. And then she decides, I'm going to use that to get me some of the old revenge. It was kind of inspired by that short film that Zack Snyder did a while ago, Snow Steam Iron.
Whoa. I don't know of that.
Oh, it's really cool. It's I'll look it up for you.
Cool.
But yeah, it's gonna be really weird, and I'm gonna see if I can kind of. I want to get all these scenes that build up like comedy, but then turn like really violent. So
Yeah.
the way she eventually kills the guy is she gets this like, you know, those big like printouts that you have in like those porn magazines where it's like 2 pages or like 4 pages and it's just like one big model on it.
Yeah, yeah.
She's gonna get one of those, but like really big. Like she can it's like as tall as she is, and she's gonna follow this dude, and she's gonna get in front of him, and she's gonna like basically hang that thing and like stand behind it. But he doesn't know there's someone behind it, so he's just really confused, and he walks up to it, and it's like this almost comedic scene.
Yeah.
This dude walking up to like a Playboy poster.
Yeah.
Then you cut to a shot from the side, and she's behind it with a gun, and she shoots through the thing, and it hits like his neck, but like it kind of scrapes his neck, so like blood starts spurting out, and then she just fucking watches him bleed to death, and it's gonna be really weird.
I like that idea.
Thank you. I kind of got inspired by a lot of Hideo Kojima stuff. I was watching some like story analysis of the Phantom Pain, Metal Gear 5, and what's the other one called again? Ground Zeroes.
Yeah.
And I discovered I really like how Hideo Kojima uses video games to tell stories.
Very cinematic.
We've talked about it before, where it's like if you use comics, then you should tell a story in a way only comics can do.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
if you use I don't know, video games, you should tell them in a way you could only do it in video games. So
Absolutely.
he really likes those long cutscenes. But what he's been doing as of late is do everything with a simulated handheld camera. And do everything in one shot. So if you look at the most recent Death Stranding trailer, it's one 9-minute long shot.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's all handheld, and that it's like perfect to do that in video games, especially because of the focus, because the focus constantly shifts, and you can do that perfectly. You can say, okay, right this second it needs to focus on this thing, and you can do that in one try because it's video games, so you can decide what's in focus and what's not, just while you're rendering everything out.
Definitely, yeah.
So all this really precise stuff happens in one shot, and you can see everything perfectly. And that's because, video games. So you can do that. And I thought that was really neat how he kind of made that style that works perfectly for video games, but would be really hard to do in real life.
Yeah, definitely. Would be cool to expand on that. Yeah.
And I wanted to do something with that as well. The scene is gonna start. The movie's gonna start with a shot of like really harshly lit grass, and you can see a flashlight, and you can see like those white Apple earbuds, but they've got like bloody like fingerprints on them. And it slowly moves to those earbuds, and you start hearing the music that's playing through them like more and more clear. And then it cuts to a wider shot, and then you see this girl, and she's like, you can't really see what's wrong with her, but there's clearly something wrong with her. And she's entirely lit by that flashlight, because I've got a couple of really bright lights now, like movie lights that work on batteries.
Nice.
So I'm just gonna tell the audience, like, this is the light source, and then once he cuts away from that, you won't question where the light is coming from in this like dark field of grass at night, because it's like from the flashlight, but it's way brighter.
Yeah, yeah.
And I'm gonna kind of work on that and see what I can do with that.
Yeah, that'd be cool to see.
I wrote a little bit earlier. I'm gonna see if I can write some stuff.
Okay. Yeah, it's cool experimenting with lighting. There's a lot of things you can do if you know what you're doing.
Yeah, I love experimenting with lighting. It's so fun.
I'm no good at it, but I'd like to be.
I'm not either, but I'm trying. I did it a little bit with Rood Fluo as well.
Ooh.
Right, with Rood Fluo, my other short film.
Yeah.
Where it's like one steady light source that's really bright. It's like, it's really artificial, and it feels really artificial, but it's part of the scene, so like you accept it as an audience member.
Do you think that translated well when you showed it to the thingy? The Feta people?
I think so. I hope so. It's because the lighting is pretty pronounced in the movie. And the very first shot of the shop that you see is that light going on. So where normally, maybe not consciously, but subconsciously, you would think, like, where's all this light coming from? That's not a question you ask yourself.
Yeah.
Because you know where the unnaturally bright light in the middle of the scene is coming from.
That's true.
And then you can get away with a lot of like stylish stuff.
Yeah. That's interesting.
And I like doing stuff like that. It's fun.
It's like the it's like that the scene with the projector in It, you know? Like how it keeps cutting to black, it's because the projector is like changing slides. It establishes that so that it makes sense.
Yeah, that's also a good example. I'm sure there've been some more that I don't remember right now.
Yeah.
Also, I tried to record some videos today, but I realized that fucking hated the game that I was playing.
Oh, what was the game?
I was playing Sly Cooper, the very first one,
Yeah, they're kind of dull.
and it has aged so terribly.
Yeah, yeah.
Holy shit! It's what I hated most about it is how stylistically confused it is, because it's kind of set up as like, hey, you're this sneaky guy, you can sneak around. You know, you're a thief, you sneak around, but then you do barely any sneaking. But the combat is still terrible, and you die in one hit, but you can't sneak around enemies.
Yeah.
There's these points where there's like turrets, and you need to hide yourself in a crate or in a little, I don't know, a crate that you can move around, because it shoots arrows, and then you don't get hit because they all get stuck in the crate. But even while you're in the crate, an enemy that's further up already sees you, even though you're hidden in the crate.
I remember that. Oh god, yeah.
And the combat is really slow and like annoying, and all the
Very
enemies have
annoying.
like big hammers, and they shoot fire, and would be like, oh, that makes sense. You're really terrible at killing them because you can sneak around them, but you can't.
Yeah.
And then the hit, you move like a fucking tank in that game, but you have to do really precise jumping, because you die in one hit. If you fall in the water, you die in one hit. If you fall in a pit, you die in one hit. But you can't move the camera up. You can only move it left and right, and it's like reversed, and you can't change that.
Oh, yeesh.
There's all these sections where there's like spotlights, and I was like, it would be so much easier if I could just pan up the camera so I could better see where these spotlights are and better judge how far I need to jump. But you can't do it.
No.
And it's just so fucking frustrating. And there's all these like mini games that you need to do, where if you get hit once, you die, but the mini game takes like 5 minutes.
Yeah, it's fucking terrible. Like, even if you get past that, even if you're able to play the game without any problems, the actual gameplay is so repetitive and dull.
It's extremely repetitive. The collectibles are really obnoxious.
Yeah.
Because you've got these bottles that you need to collect to get new moves.
Yes, yeah.
And I was like, I don't know if these moves are like required, if they make the game better or more fun.
I'm pretty
But
sure
if you
they do,
miss
yeah.
one bottle, then you're fucked, because you need to go through the entire stage again, which is
Yeah.
incredibly slow and tedious and obnoxious to find this one fucking bottle.
Yeah.
Then you need to finish the stage and go back in again, because you can't go back at a lot of points.
No.
And the vault is almost always at the beginning. And you get that slow fucking, I'm a master hacker. This is the code that you need to put in, and it takes so long.
Yeah. And they don't get any better either. Like, the Sly Cooper games are just dull. The one on PS3, Sly Cooper Thieves in Time, is the best one, because it's got less bullshit. The gameplay's kind of repetitive, but it's fun. The first three are, ugh.
There's this point where you need to, you know how you need to shimmy on walls sometimes? In the first like hub world, there's one level that you need to make a thing roll so that an elevator goes up that you stand on. Then you jump on a couple of things, then you shimmy past a wall, and then you can get into a stage. In that stage, the vault is all the way at the beginning. So you need to go back in again.
Oh.
And I got all the bottles, and I was like, okay, good. So I can just walk back in again and get that vault. It's a bit obnoxious, sure.
Yeah.
He fucking automatically jumps off that little tower that you're on. So you need to do the elevator again, you need to do the jumping again, you need to do the shimmying again, you need to enter the level again, go through that slow dialogue thing to get the item, and then go back out again.
It's awful.
I hate it, but
Yeah.
it looks so cute, and it's so charming.
Yeah, I think that's how
But
it
the
gets away with
gameplay
it.
is so obnoxious.
Yeah.
And it's the stylistic inconsistency is what I hate the most, because all these jumps, it looks really elegant, but you barely jump and do stuff, and you control like a fucking Silent Hill character.
Yeah.
And there's all these points where you think you can like jump on top of something, but you can't.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
There's like a ledge that has like a little thing that peeks out of it, so you need to jump back a little bit. You know, normally when you're in a game, you're like pressed up against a wall, you jump and then you get on. But because a lot of the game is like natural environments, they're always curved. So you hit the top. You can't really see it, but I assume that's what happens.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can do, and your double jump is worthless. And sometimes you can just double jump on something. Sometimes you need to press another button to grab onto something. Some ledges you can jump on top of. Other ledges that look identical you can't jump on top of.
Mm.
I hate it. It sucks.
Yeah.
And it looked so cute. It looked like a game that I would love.
Yeah,
But
definitely. I remember thinking the same thing. I guess let that be a lesson. You can get away with a lot if presentation is good.
all these games have like great like 8s and 9s.
Yeah.
Really well reviewed games.
Yeah, they are, and the second and the third one, they're no different, and I really slogged through them to get platinum trophies. I got a platinum trophy on all of them, and I didn't enjoy any of them.
Oh no, I was playing it. It was just obnoxious. Like I was just annoyed all the time.
Yeah.
Like you do some slow like searchlight part, and you accidentally fall down because you control like a Silent Hill character, and you've got to do all of it over again.
Mm.
And I don't know. It's so weird because it feels like you should be able to do everything elegantly, but you can't.
Yeah. A lot of the game
You're
kind of
like-
has that feeling of like you're so elegant and agile, but you're not at all.
Yeah, and every now and again you swing on those things, and then you grab onto a railing and you climb up, and it looks great.
Yeah,
But for
yeah.
the most part, your character feels like a fucking brick for most of the game.
It does. It's so weird.
Yeah, it's weird. So what was your idea or your title?
Oh, it's just the title is just Everything Sucks, and I don't know. I kind of like it. Yeah, there's something kind of like sophomoric about it. You know, like I can imagine it being a short film about like slightly pretentious teenagers. You know.
Oh yeah.
Like I don't know. That they have like pretentious music T-shirts. They think they're all like intellectual, but it's kind of like you were giving me a short film idea a while ago about characters that kind of are archetypal, but underneath that they have like hidden like depth to them. You know?
Oh yeah, it's the high school movie about
the party thing.
Like young people pretending to be archetypal characters.
Yeah, and not that I want to ape on that idea, but that's kind of like what I see for this in a sense. I don't know.
Yeah, I like. Do you know that meme where it's like a bunch of people, I think in England, wearing like black turtleneck sweaters,
Yeah.
and it's got like some text under it, like when is the new Arctic Monkeys album coming out? I imagine those types of people.
Absolutely, yeah, definitely. I don't know. I don't know what the story would actually be, but I don't know. Just the phrase "everything sucks" seems like something that like a hormonal teenager would say.
Yeah.
So I want the short film to be like around that kind of about that era of someone's life, you know, where they're struggling with everything, where they're just very emotional about everything, and they're trying to make sense of it all, and you know, I kind of like that part of like life, and I want to do a short film about it.
Yeah, I like that. That's pretty neat.
I tend to have a lot of ideas about themes for short films, but no actual stories, and I want more. Like, there's no meat to it. I want more to write about, because that's not an idea, really.
No, well, that's how I usually write, where I have like a theme or an idea, and then you can just kind of write whatever. When it's like, okay, the title is Everything Sucks, and it's about these teenagers who, you know, everything sucks, I hate it all. Then you can just kind of start coming up with all kinds of situations that fit that theme and like work a story around that.
I can imagine, like, I kind of have like a vague like scene in my mind where one of them is like really in like a horrible spot and they're threatening suicide, but I don't know like where that can go. That just seems like a scene that would be in something like that, but I don't know.
Yeah, it sounds like a Coen Brothers type of idea. Where it's like kind of like a Big Lebowski, something like that.
Yeah.
Baron Pink type of stuff.
Who was that last name you said? Baron Pink.
Baron Pink.
Baron Pink. Yeah, okay. But I don't know. I want to develop it into more, but I'm not sure where to go with it. I think it's always not just like a good idea from like a storytelling perspective, but just therapeutic to like kind of put your feelings into art, you know, like funnel them creatively into something.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So that's kind of what I want to do with this.
Yeah, that was also part of Road for Veil again, where I'm kind of afraid of making something that's accidentally pretentious.
Yeah.
So I'll just make a sort of dark comedy about pretentious people.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And then it fits within the theme of the film, and it's whenever something pretentious happens, then it's like a joke.
Yeah.
Like that, I imagine like this band, like, you know how in Green Room, they're just these like miserable characters in a band.
Mm-hmm.
Something like that, where these young teenagers have just set up a band. They haven't even played any gigs yet. They haven't even played any shows yet.
Yeah, yeah.
But they're like so serious about their artistic fucking.
Yeah.
Where's the music going? What is it saying?
Oh, fuck, yeah. When I was studying film at college, I knew a lot of people like that. Like, they hadn't made a short film yet, but they already wanted to seem like an auteur, you know? They already wanted to be like, yeah, I'm gonna change the face of cinema one day.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, yeah, I'm an artiste. I have things to say. Like, fuck off, you haven't made anything.
Yeah, I feel like something like that could work. Like with filmmakers or with a band or whatever. I'm always really hesitant to make a character that's like a writer or a director, because I'm afraid it's gonna feel like self-congratulating, or it's gonna feel like as a really obvious statement, even if it's not.
Making something with a director, he said.
Making something about a director.
Oh, yeah. I know what you mean, yeah. Like a bit self-indulgent in a sense.
Yeah, and even if it's not, that's like the thing people are gonna go to, or like, oh, he made a movie about a director, so it's a movie about him.
Yeah,
God.
yeah. Not to say that I would agree, but I can see what you mean about like not wanting to give off that certain feeling. I've also got another idea in this about like I want to make a short film that kind of tackles that feeling of comparing yourself to others, you know? And it's like, man, like the things that I make are shit. They're nowhere near as good as this amazing inspiration that I love, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And like a short film that kind of, I don't know, demonstrates why that's really unhealthy, like to compare your work to theirs, and because that can put yourself off and it's not good creatively and it's not fulfilling. But again, that's a theme, that's not an idea. I don't know, like what can you do with that in terms of a story? I don't know. Like, that's a moral, I guess. But
yeah, well, again, that's always how I write. So I'm like, okay, that's a cool idea, that's a cool theme. So what can this be about? It can be about, I don't know, someone making a statue. It can be a story about someone who makes statues, and he lives in communist Russia, and there's this fucking huge statue of Lenin or whatever the fuck his name is. And he's got this little shop where he makes little Lenin like figurines and statues. And if he looks through his window, you can see that huge statue, and he just hates it. He just hates that statue is there, and that he makes these little tiny dumb little statues and figurines.
Is this your idea,
like,
or is this something you've seen?
No, I just came up with this.
Just now?
Yeah.
That's really good! That's really fucking cool!
I mean, that's just how I write, where I'm like, okay, this is a team. Let's think of a setting. communist Russia? Sure, whatever. What's the thing in communist Russia? Oh, statues of dictators. Okay, well, what about the guy? He also makes statues, and he feels incompetent because he makes small statues. Okay,
and
sure.
That's so good. Like, the actual statue is right outside his window, and his life is about making. Fucking hell, that's really good.
And he's just so fucking bitter about it. And he's like, people buy a little statue, and he's like, oh, it's just like the real thing. And he's like, oh yeah, the real thing, huh? This is the real thing. I made this. This is my real thing. People
yeah.
Oh, okay, sure.
And I can imagine a shot where, like, he's holding his little, like, miniature statue up, and then, like, he kind of brings it down, and the actual statue is just, like, exactly behind it, you know, like, in the distance.
Yeah, he sets up a statue behind the counter where it, because of perspective, looks like that statue is bigger than the statue outside. And it's like, like, that's his little spot sitting. That's how I come up with ideas.
That's really good. I was going to say before you started that, like, you seem a lot better at turning themes into ideas, and then you just fucking just throw that out like it's nothing. Which proves it.
What does it prove?
That you are way better at turning just, like, a theme. Like, that's a good scene. Like, that's a really good, like, start of a story there.
I guess, yeah, it could be like, I don't know, like
It's very Coen Brothers.
Is it? I haven't seen many Coen Brother movies.
Well, I guess it sounds more like Fargo. Like, it sounds like something that would be in, like, the show Fargo.
Ah, okay. Yeah, I love that kind of, like, dry...
Yeah.
Sism, like, fucking this statue.
Because there's also, there's almost something like... There's almost, like, some commentary to that. You know, like, Lenin is, like, a political... Is, like, anti-capitalism or something? Or... Like, the idea of, like, mass-selling statues of a dictator. Like, there is commentary to that. You know, I think. Especially in a country like Russia, yeah.
And that's also... I didn't even think of that. But yeah, you could make a comparison between that and, like, your own art.
Mm.
You shouldn't make a movie and be like, oh, it's not Pulp Fiction.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Like, don't compare it, because you don't make Pulp Fiction. You make your own stuff.
Yeah.
Like, I imagine the scene where he wakes up in his little house. Mm-hmm. He opens his window. He opens his curtains, and he sees the statue. He's like,
yeah.
And immediately closes the blinds.
Oh my god! So it's like right there from his window view, both at home and at work.
Yeah, it's just
that's
like
great.
It's just like a little shop, and the floor above it is his house.
Oh, okay. That's fucking genius. God damn, that's actually incredibly clever. Because that almost really like funny, because I was going to say if he lives and works in different buildings, that would say a lot about how small of a bubble he lives in, because you can see the same monument from both windows, and his disdain at the shadow will says a lot about how he sees his position in life. You know, like he hates the fact that he lives in this like little bubble, and he lives just to fucking make little statues. I think just that imagery of seeing that same statue from his window tells you a lot, like, about the character. That'd be really good storytelling.
Yeah, especially if he has like a little workshop, like he's working on the statues that he makes.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, he constantly like opens the blind so he can see the statue, and then he's like, no, I should close them again. And he opens them again, and he closes them again. He's like, should I even be looking at the statue while I'm making my own statues?
Yeah.
And then eventually his character arc is eventually he goes to the countryside and he makes scarecrows or something, I don't know.
Yeah, and I was going to say, like, throughout the whole film, even in scenes where it's not acknowledged, you can still see the statue in the background, both commenting on the fact that he does live in a small bubble, but it's always a looming thing in his life. Like, his life revolves around that statue, and then at the end, he moves away, and that'll be the first time in the whole film where you can't see the statue in the background, almost thematic, that he's finally away from it, you know?
Yeah, like the sun goes up in a way where his shop is always in the shadow of the statue.
Yeah. That's a genius fucking short film that you've just come up with.
You could make really fun jokes about that as well, where people are like, man, this shop is always so dark because it's always in the shadow of this statue. And he's like, Yeah, I know.
Yeah. That's super good.
I actually like that idea. Yeah, it could be really
That's
fun.
fucking good, yeah. Like, it's a simple story, but like there's a lot you could like glean from it, like thematically.
Yeah, and that's what I mean with like writing from like you can make up so many little different funny scenes just based on that statue and like what it means to him.
Mm.
Like eventually Stalin actually shows up on the plaza and he's like really small compared to the statue and the guy's like all like disappointed.
Yeah. Or like the guy who actually is the statue shows up.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
he's just a
yeah.
normal dude and then he's like, oh well, that's not that impressive actually. It's just
Yeah,
a dude.
and that'll almost go to say like how the statue has become more than just the person himself. Like the actual person isn't impressive, but the statue is. Like the person isn't the point. The statue, this looming thing, is like the not the threat, but that is like the intimidating factor. It's not who it represents. It's just the fact that his life is about that hunk of rock. You know?
Yeah, like, the statue stares him in the face all the time.
Yeah.
You can have a nightmare scene where the statue comes to life and destroys the city,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it becomes like a comedic, over the top Conan type like scene for just like 5 minutes, where he destroys the statue and then he wakes up like on his bench,
Yeah.
surrounded by all his tools.
Oh man. Such a good idea. I'm assuming you know of Jordan Peterson, the philosopher.
I don't know if I do.
Really?
I actually no. Yeah, I think I.
Jordan Peterson. He was on the H3 podcast for a few episodes. He was on Channel 4
Oh, yeah.
recently, yeah. With that woman.
Yeah, he wrote
yeah.
that book, The 12 Rules of Life.
Yep, that's the one. Yeah. He was saying on the H3 podcast recently that he went through a phase, or I think he's still going through it, where he buys like paintings of Lenin off eBay because Lenin was very anti-capitalist, and the idea of eBay is very like capitalist, you know, and he finds it so funny to buy paintings of Lenin off eBay, like it's so against what he would have wanted. So yeah, the idea of like selling and mass producing statues of Lenin is almost that same kind of irony, you know?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah. So his
Well, there you
life
go.
is like
That's
this.
another scene.
Yeah.
That's another scene where someone is like, it's kind of ironic that you're selling these statues, but we live in a like capitalist.
Yeah.
But we live in a socialist country.
It's so absurd. That's why it is like a Coen Brothers story, because it's so absurd. Like his life is like this ironic joke.
Oh, I like that. That's really funny. Yeah.
I can't believe that stupid little idea you've just thrown at me. I've just analysed the political fucking like ramifications behind it.
Yeah, but that's how you write a good script. That's how you get a good movie. You just kind of you come up with an idea and then you bullshit about the political meaning, and then you can build on that because it's your world. You create it, so whatever you say it means about or says about politics is what it says or means about politics.
Yeah. Man.
And then you give it an extremely ironic title.
What would be a good title for that?
50% off Stalin, where because he's selling the statues at a discount at the time when we follow him in the movie.
Yeah. 50% off Stalin.
I wish I had the money to just be like, I'm gonna buy paintings because the person on the paintings didn't like it when people spent enormous amounts of money on things.
Yeah. He just buys paintings because it's ironic.
Does he just have like a Stalin room?
Apparently,
where he does his taxes?
I think so. Yeah, apparently. Like he went through like a big eBay like craze buying them. So I mean, God, I dread to think how many he's got. But yeah, I have another short film like theme in
me.
this. How I wanna make something that deals with the idea of change and the flow of time, I guess, and the idea that like nothing's concrete in a way, and you kind of go through life being attached to things and people. Maybe it's like a relationship or a job title or something, but from my perspective, or at least I went through a phase where it felt foolish to be attached to things because nothing is ever concrete and it can just disappear, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that makes sense.
And maybe that isn't like, maybe that's a really cynical way of looking at it, but I think maybe I can like kind of funnel that through a cynical kind of character who has like a very nihilistic way of looking at the world. And I want to make a short film kind of like that about just change and how nothing is set in stone, and that's kind of scary in a sense, you know?
Oh, I had an idea about that a long time ago. What was it again? It was about someone with autism who was kind of obsessed with breaking everything down to the core concept.
Uh-huh.
Where it's like, this is this and this is how it works. And that made him really depressed because everything, eventually it was like, and then it dies.
Yeah.
And that made him really depressed, and he tried to kind of find a way to get rid of that like mindset.
Man. Yeah. Definitely that kind of thing. I don't know. There's a lot of like feelings that I want to base a short film off, you know?
Yeah, I love that kind of stuff.
And have you ever heard of Leonora Carrington?
I'm thinking right now, but I don't think so.
She's a surrealist painter. Leonora Carrington. She died in 2011. Yeah, oh, you'd love her art, Leonora Carrington. She's got very surreal.
How do you spell it?
It's like Leonard, but instead of a D at the end, it's another A, like Leonora. Leonora. Okay, Leonora. I'll just fucking send you a link to like the.
Oh yeah, sure.
Yeah, it's a big, stupid, long link.
Oh, that link sure is long and stupid. Oh, that is cool.
Yeah, really surreal, strange art. Yeah.
And it reminds me a lot of what's his name again? He's my favorite painter. Why don't I know this?
Is it the Screaming Man guy?
No. Oh man, what the fuck's wrong with me? Why don't I? Well, I'm just going to Salvador Dali. There you go.
Yeah.
Why did I forget his name? I love his painting so much.
Well, I've wrote well, whenever like I see a quote that I agree like that like resonates with me, I write it down in this book as well. And Leonora Carrington said at one point, "Art has always been the raft onto which we climb to save our sanity." And I like that. Yeah,
that's cool.
Like you can use art to like get these feelings out, and you can say things that you can't usually put into words, but you can show these ideas that demonstrate your thoughts and feelings on the world.
Oh yeah, I like that. That's smart.
Yeah. And that resonates with me quite a lot, and I want to show that in my own work.
Oh, I was gonna send you the There you go. I saw this really long. This is unrelated, but I watched this by a YouTuber called Super Bunny Hop.
Ooh, I like him. Also,
I watched.
A photo. Go on.
I saw his. I saw his analysis on the story of Metal Gear Solid 5.
Oh yeah.
I don't know how far you're up to, how deep you are into the Metal Gear Solid lore.
Not that far at all.
Okay,
But
well, yeah, you have the first game, and everything after that is basically a meta story.
okay.
Metal Gear Solid 2 is about how every character in the game is in a simulation, and how Hideo Kojima was kind of scared to make a follow-up to Metal Gear because it was so well liked,
Yeah.
and people expected like another masterpiece. So he purposefully started the first couple of missions with Snake, and then switched over to Raiden, who he knew no one would like. But that's the entire point, where it's like, don't ever expect anything from me because I'm always going to do something different. So here is a character that you don't want. And here's a story about that. And here's a story about how no one likes this character, but he's also in a simulation. And I don't know. Metal Gear Solid 5 is kind of about that as well, where everything comes full circle. It's like...
Yeah. It does seem interesting. The story does seem really cool. It's like the controls and the gameplay that has always been an obstacle for me.
Oh yeah, I feel I love the Metal Gear games. It's the last shot of Metal Gear Solid 5 is a shot of like an Amiga or whatever, the thing that had the first Metal Gear game on it. And the idea is like the character Big Boss exists within that game, and every other time you've played him is basically the video game idea of him.
Oh.
So the reality of Metal Gear is that Amiga game, those first two games that aren't even in 3D. And then every other game is a video game representation of that reality.
Oh my god. Okay. Jesus. I had no idea.
It's really interesting. Yeah, it's he uses like he uses The Man Who Sold the Earth by David Bowie as like part of the commentary as well. It's really, really interesting.
I really hope Death Stranding is half as interesting as Metal Gear Solid, because I cannot bloody wait for that.
Oh my god, I can't imagine it not being super interesting, to be honest.
Definitely.
Oh, I was going to show you the short. You want to watch it with me? It's only 4 minutes long.
I think my dinner might be ready before then. But as I'm eating dinner, we can watch it.
Oh, sure. It's really cool. It's pretty much the ultimate like Zack Snyder type of thing.
Oh, I didn't know we did short films as well.
Well, his daughter committed suicide. His like 21-year-old daughter committed. She either committed suicide or died in a car crash. I don't remember exactly, but his 22 or 21-year-old daughter died.
I remember it being a car crash, but I could be wrong. I'll have a look.
It could be a car crash. I don't know. But he was like, okay, this is like super emotional, so I can't direct Justice League anymore. So he gave that to Joss Whedon. And then as like a way to be with his family, because he's got a lot of creative people in his family who do like a lot of stuff for movies and like costumes and music and stuff. So he and the rest of his family together, they made this short film with an iPhone.
Oh wow, that's awesome. Yeah, we really are in an age where like films can be shot on an iPhone and it looks fucking good, you know?
Yeah. Well, you can definitely tell it's shot on an iPhone, but it still looks good.
Yeah. It's not quite at that level, but you know, it's still watchable. Like 10 years ago, I don't think that would have been able to happen, you know?
Definitely not, no.
Yeah, it's crazy how fast technology moves these days. Yeah, she did kill herself. That's insane.
Mm-hmm. People kind of overblow the idea of directors shooting stuff on an iPhone now. Yeah. Because, like, sure, he shot this on an iPhone because an iPhone has a pretty good camera, but he also had, like, I don't know, $100,000 or $50,000 to make this. And he still had a
People think it's just
2 days to do it.
Yeah.
just because Zack Snyder made this movie on an iPhone doesn't make you can make this movie on an iPhone.
Yeah.
He made this because this is his job, and he got money to make this, and he could take time out of his day to make this because it is his job, and he had a crew, and he had people who could, do this.
Yeah, he didn't just do it on his lunch break.
Yeah, and it is really cool that we're in a time where you can just pick up an iPhone and shoot something like this on it, but you still need the resources. Like people always say, like your camera has a good has a fantastic, your phone has a great camera in it. You can just shoot anything on it. You can make any movie you want. And that's really not true. You can make a movie with an iPhone. You can't make every movie with an iPhone.
No, definitely not.
Like, sure, it's like the kind of Clerks idea. Like, yeah, you could shoot a Clerks. You could shoot a Lost in Translation on an iPhone as like a 25-year-old with not too much money, and it can be great. But you can't do everything. Like, you still have, just because everyone has a camera, and just because the internet exists, and just because you can use editing software, doesn't mean that you now don't have restrictions anymore.
Yeah.
I always think that's kind of interesting how people overblow the idea of you can do anything now in the modern age. Like, no, you really can't. You still can't make a period piece because you don't have you still need money for that. You still need costumes for that. You still need makeup artists for that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I don't think cinema will ever be at that place where you can do anything.
Yeah, if you're creative, you can make a masterpiece with an iPhone. But that doesn't mean you can do anything you want.
No,
like movie-wise with an iPhone, you still have restrictions.
Yeah, of course.
I also saw Park Chan-wook, the director who made Old Boy, one of my favorite movies. He made a bunch of my favorite movies, actually. He also shot a film on an iPhone. It was called Night Fishing.
Oh, yeah.
And it was really good, and people were like, "Oh my god, he just shot it on an iPhone. Isn't that magical that you can just shoot a movie like that on an iPhone?" And I'm like, yeah, he shot it on an iPhone. But if you look at this, that's an extremely long link.
It doesn't even show. Wow! Oh my god! I can't stop scrolling. I can't get to the top of it.
Is it that? Oh my god, that is really. Can you even click it?
No, it's not even. Doesn't even register as a link. It starts with data : image. It's not a link at all. What in the fucking world did you just send?
I have no idea. The Matrix, I guess.
Yeah,
here it is.
The entire. There we go.
This is how we shot it on an iPhone.
Yeah, yeah. It's not literally just yeah.
You might as well. I love the guy, but you might as well not shoot it on an iPhone. Like, at this point, what's the point?
With a big fucking lens, yeah.
Oh, here's another image. This is also pretty comical.
I'm still fucking angry that I bought the wrong version of Old Boy.
Did you buy the American version?
Yeah, I got the one with Josh Brolin. I thought it was the good version.
Boy, oh boy.
I mean, maybe it will help to watch that one, because I'll probably like it, and then I'll watch the good version, and it'll make me appreciate it even more. I don't bloody know.
I would watch it the other way around. It's
Really?
Old Boy is an experience.
Oh yeah, that's true.
And if you know the story beats, then yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point. Oh man, yeah, that is no point using a phone. That is 90% camera, 10% phone.
Like, I don't know. Maybe he was like sponsored by Apple or something. Maybe that's how he got the money to make this.
Who knows?
Because I don't know if I remember correctly, it is like 20 minutes long. Yeah, it's 33 minutes long, so it's a long short film. Oh yeah, it was shot entirely on an Apple iPhone 4 and was financially supported by KT, South Korea's exclusive distributor for the iPhone at the time.
Wowie zowie.
which applied 150 million Korean won, which is 133,000 US dollars.
Bloody hell.
Yeah, so he just needed money to make a short film. He was like, "I'll fucking shoot it on an iPhone, motherfucker." Fucking watch me shoot it on an iPhone, you piece of shit. Put a big old lens on it. Oh my god. I've told you about one of my favorite movie titles of all time, which is coincidentally also by Park Chan-wook, right?
Oh, what is it?
There it is. I'm just going to send you the link. I just want you to experience it for yourself. It's wonderful.
Oh my god, I was my friend Josh, who's like you but British.
Mm-hmm.
I was at his house the other day and he was showing me that on DVD. I haven't seen any of it. And I was thinking, I wonder if fucking Joran's heard of this. Of course, this is the fucking film. Yeah. It seems really interesting.
Of course I have. Yeah, it's about a girl who thinks she's like a fighting robot android. And she's in a mental hospital because obviously she's fucking crazy because she thinks she's like a combat android. And she falls in love with someone else who's also crazy.
Yeah.
And it's called I'm a Cyborg, but that's okay.
That's such a cool title.
It's so good.
Josh was saying that he owns this on DVD, just like a standard DVD copy. But a little while ago, he had to go to this building to do like an exam. And in one of the bins, he just saw like a really nice deluxe edition, still in its wrapping, just in the bin. And
that's crazy.
So he was like, fuck, I'm just going to fucking take this. Now he just owns like a really nice, it's got like little like pictures in it, like you can take out and look at, like concept shit. And it's so fucking cool. He just saw it in a bin, so someone's going to throw it away.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, and it's a version that you can only get imported as well, so I don't know who the hell it would belong to. Yeah. So really interesting who could have, because whoever would have thrown that in the bin, they would have known what they were buying, because they would have had to have done the research to find that copy, and then they just threw it away. I don't know, really weird. But yeah, it does seem interesting.
Oh yeah, he made this because all of his movies are really violent.
And
he has a
like
daughter.
The antithesis of that.
No, well, he has a daughter, and his daughter is always super curious about his films.
Yeah.
But she can't watch any of them because they're all horribly violent murder movies.
Yeah.
So he's like, I'll make like a romance melodrama thing about a girl who thinks she's a robot, so that my daughter can see one of my movies. Isn't that the cutest?
It is. I like that.
I love it.
The Independent Artists Fair.
What do you think about the movie Loving Vincent?
I haven't seen it. I've heard it looks pretty, and that's it.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. I'm glad you said that. That's what I've heard too. I feel like a lot of people are letting a film like that get away with whatever just because of it looks the Sly Cooper fucking syndrome. You know?
The Black Panther syndrome.
Yeah. It looks
Did you see
good. It is a
Mr.
masterpiece.
Donacast, by the way?
I did. I was listening to that earlier.
I liked it.
Yeah. Is that what you heard about? Like, Loving Vincent isn't that great.
No, I am.
That's where I heard.
It played in a cinema. It played in a little art house cinema that's in my city.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I looked up if people liked it, and everyone said it looks good. But oh boy, it's boring as fuck.
But that doesn't matter. It looked good. It's masterpiece.
Eat masterpiece.
Masterpiece of shit.
Got him.
God damn it, this fucking chat log is so, like, inaccessible now, because I have to go on this fucking, it's like fucking being Bilbo in The Hobbit. I have to, like, go on this trek, scrolling past this giant non-link that you've sent me.
I think I can delete it. Hold on. Oh, fuck. Okay, here's another great thing that Facebook does. You know how literally every time you want to delete something, the option shows up at the top of the message?
Yeah.
In Facebook, it's in the perfect middle. So
You gotta go looking for it.
Oh, fucking piece of shit. There you go, it's gone.
It's not for me. It deletes it for you, but not for me.
Oh.
So I've still got a fucking...
And you gotta do it yourself.
Oh man, I don't even know, like, I can't see it anywhere.
It's somewhere in the middle. I promise.
For fuck's sake. I don't know. Yeah, I had a friend like a few years ago. Oh, there it is. And he sent like a message, and he was like, "Oh, that's embarrassing." And he was like, "Oh, I deleted it." And it's like, does he realize I can still see all of this?
Well, you're just like, you know, you deleted it just in time. I couldn't even click on it.
Yeah, and he was like, "Oh, crisis averted. That was a lot of shit that you almost saw." It's like, no, I could. Yeah, never mind. Don't worry about it. Oh, good. I finally found the middle, but all it lets me do is react to it. It doesn't let me delete it.
Thanks,
What a slap in the face. You can give it a sad face if you want.
So I'll teach him. How's that? My food is coming.
I don't know. I don't know. It should be done any second.
Did you order food?
No, I'm having spaghetti.
A spaghetti.
Spaghetti. Yeah. Oh, on the phone, if you just... Sping. I knew it was going to work its way back to that. On a phone, if you just hold your thumb over a message, you can just delete it like that, which is way easier.
Yeah, luckily it doesn't do that on the computer for some reason.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah. Man, you've not seen any of BoJack Horseman, have you?
I have seen none of it.
It is an incredible fucking show, and you wouldn't think it, but it is.
It looks obnoxious, like Family Guy.
I know what you mean. To be honest, the first episode is that, but it's honestly after that, it's fucking so good. It's the most like emotionally devastating show I've ever seen in my life.
Oh boy.
I completely get like what you feel about it, because I looked at it as that kind of show for years, but it's honest to God not that kind of show. Apart from the first episode.
What is it about? Isn't it about like just BoJack Horseman being like an asshole, and then he hates himself for being an asshole? Or...
Yeah, and like he's called out for like being in that repetitive cycle. Like I feel like someone could say that in a bad way, like just about but he gets called out for being that way. Like, you're always fucking doing this, and you're always trying to get away with it. But yeah, he's this sitcom actor from the 80s who's kind of washed up, and like he's kind of like trying to be relevant in like the modern day, but like he's but yeah, like the way the show handles relationships and stuff like that is so devastating, but it's so relatable. Like, that show got me through a lot of like rough times, and I've never really been able to say that about anything, but BoJack Horseman, I can say that.
Oh, that's great.
And I remember saying that way before it established an asexual character in it too, so it's not just because of that.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah, and that episode made me cry when that happened. But even before that, it was super, super good and relatable. Like, as a character, I'll be quick about it because I know you've not seen it, so you probably don't really give a shit deep down. But there's a character in I mean, let's be honest.
No, just tell me about it. I'm curious.
There's a character in season 1 that BoJack gets back in touch with because he used to work with him years and years ago. Because he's got cancer, so he wants to meet back up with him and catch up. But the character who's got cancer is like, no, the reason we stopped talking is because you fucked me over so you could like get a better job, and you fucked me over and left me to nothing. And BoJack wants forgiveness. He wants that closure before he dies of cancer, which is in a way is kind of selfish. He just
That's super selfish.
Yeah. He just wants that closure like before he dies. And he just doesn't give it him. He's saying, no, I'm not giving you that fucking satisfaction. Fuck you. And he just dies. And, like, he just doesn't... He dies hating him. And yeah, like, throughout the show, there are flashbacks to, like, his old life. And they're, like, best friends. But you, like, know, oh, he got cancer and died and hated him. It's so fucking sad. But it's a really good story. Like, no character is completely good or completely bad. Bojack is likable, even though he's a fucking arsehole. And there are some characters in the show that are likable, but also have arsehole traits about them. So good. It's so good.
No, yeah, that sounds cool. I like that.
It's very cool.
Want to just risk it and watch the film? It's 4 minutes.
Sure, yeah. I swear to fucking God, if like my dinner's ready during it, let's watch it.
You got the link?
I got the link. 4 minutes 17.
What?
Yes, 17 seconds longer than you said. You lied to me.
I'm sorry. I'm just like BoJack.
I'm not giving you any closure. I'm gonna die now.
Nah, fuck.
Ah, fuck.
I'm gonna choke on my Boschetti.
That is exactly what Bojack said in that episode too. Oh well, dinner's ready. B.R.B.
Oh, really? God damn it.
Boo!
Oh, Jesus fucking Christ.
Oh my God! Holy mother of fuck! Boschetti, get it? Thank you. That's a very genuine laugh. I'm glad. Right, you're probably gonna hear gross sounds of me eating, but try to
That's
ignore
okay.
it.
You know how much I love ASMR.
Oh God! Anyway.
Oh. Is that how you know it's like?
Okay, I'll try and keep that down to a minimum.
It's probably not a scenario you're in often, but I just imagined you on like a cute romantic date. And everything's going great. You know, it's like the date from Spider-Man 3, but everything goes well.
Yeah.
Like the wedding ring is on its way. And you just go like as you eat like an olive.
Oh my God. That's disgusting. Thank you, by the way, for... This probably isn't something that you can relate to, but imagine being on a date.
That's not what I mean.
I know. It sounded funny, though.
You know what I mean, you fucker.
Not that you'll have any idea, but imagine if you were on a
Imagine
date.
if people loved you.
Man, you always know just what to say. Alright, let's watch this stupid fucking film already.
Hey, you calm down, fucker.
Alright, 3, 2, 1, play! Oh, what the fuck? I don't like any of those things.
Especially Phil.
Wow!
I love the soundtrack to this, by the way.
Fucking spaghetti. Oh God!
What? What do you?
What's going on to the poor woman? Oh! No! Wow, Zowie.
Man, she does a really cool like fight type move right now. Oh, I love it.
Ah, fine. Well,
Just that like ducking to dodge that thing.
oh, bloody hell. Whoa!
I love the shot.
Oh, fuck.
Isn't that cool?
Mm-hmm. It sure was.
I love it. Did you get the story?
I think so.
Oh, here goes those eating noises. Yeah, no, it's just, it's kind of like what's it called again? Memento.
Memento, yeah.
You get all these snippets, and then at the end you're like, oh, that's what happened. Got it.
Yeah.
It's just she gets abused because she's like a model in New York in the 60s or 40s or whatever, and she gets abused, and then she fucking kills the dude.
That's crazy.
Very nice, man. You know, people hate Zack Snyder, and he's made his fair share of garbage, but I love the dude.
Mm-hmm.
I
was gonna say, yeah, that seems like it. Like, what I usually kind of get about him is that his films are style but no substance, but that was quite substantial. It was very substantial.
Yeah, well, the thing is, I feel like he has a great style, and for certain projects, his style works really well, and for others, it doesn't. And I think for his superhero movies, it just doesn't work. But for stuff like this, it's great, where it's just this short moment in this woman's life that's incredibly intense. So the slow-mo makes sense, all the dramatic gore and nudity, it all makes sense. He's great at fight choreography, and this look beautiful. He knows how to make everything look good, where it's like highly contrasted, so everyone wears really dark clothing. You've got the dark ground, but it's also snowing, so you got the ground becomes like shiny. You've got these like white sheets to, spice it up a little bit. A lot of it is in slow mo, so you put a snow machine there, and it becomes visually it's just so much more interesting. I like it, and that's why I like Watchmen so much, because it's like a perfect project for him.
It definitely is, yeah. I really like Watchmen.
I know a lot of people really hate it. It's
I like it.
Honestly one of my favorite superhero movies. Like Guardians, Spider-Man 2, and Watchmen, probably my favorite superhero movies. Guardians 2, I mean.
You just see that.
It's really fun. Apparently Mark Hamill wants a role in the third one.
That's cool. Mark Hamill's a cool boy.
he had a little talk a while ago before the Star Wars movie came out, where it's a panel and people could ask him questions, but the top comment was like, "This very quickly turned into the Mark Hamill comedy special," or like Mark Hamill stand-up hour, and it's wonderful. Like he's just on stage and someone asks a question and he answers it, and then he goes into like a tangent and he tells like a bunch of jokes, and he's really great and he involves the audience. It's wonderful. I love the dude.
That's awesome.
I really like all the. I don't know. I don't know what they're called. They're these videos where it's like cast of whatever movie fills in Google searches of something.
Huh.
Do you know the videos I mean? Oh, it's like
maybe.
It's a company. They make these videos with all these actors, and they did one for Star Wars where it's all the cast is there, and they ask them questions. It's like, okay, you type in Star Wars, or you type in does Luke Skywalker, and then the top questions that pop up in Google, Mark Hamill answers them for you.
Oh, yeah, I have.
And there was one that's like, are the Jedi allowed to love? And Mark Hamill's just like, I feel like Luke would have a girlfriend by now if he was allowed to, but so I guess not.
Wow.
He's wonderful. Yeah, I remember really liking that video because it was him and Admiral Holdo. I forgot her name, the actress, Twin Peaks woman.
Grace Brinsky.
No, but you know who I mean, the David Lynch regular.
Laura Dern.
Yeah, Laura Dern. It was Mark Hamill and Laura Dern answering these questions about Star Wars stuff, and it's really fun.
Is Grace Zabriskie not good enough for Star Wars?
I don't know who that is.
Laura Palmer's mother. Maybe watch Twin Peaks once in a while.
You're right. I never watched Twin Peaks.
What's she even fucking been in? The stupid woman. She was in a movie called Wrong Cops. Okay. It's got Ray Wise in it too. Wow. And Marilyn Manson.
Wait, what does Marilyn Manson?
A movie called Wrong Cops. Both of Laura Palmer's parents are in it, and Marilyn Manson. And Eric Wareheim.
Oh. Marilyn Manson is also in a David Lynch movie. Did you know that?
Wild at Heart, isn't it? No, Inland Empire.
Nope.
Yes?
Nope. Keep guessing.
No, I don't need to. I got it right. Watch it again, and you'll see him.
No, he's in Lost Highway.
Lost Highway. I keep forgetting about that one. I keep forgetting that's David Lynch.
It's so good.
I think I have it too. Is that one of the ones I bought recently? I don't. No, it wasn't.
Lost Highway is super scary.
I want to watch it. Let me watch it.
Yeah, no, he plays a porn actor in that movie. He's in like 2 scenes, and they're in the background. It's like there's like a projector that projects a porn film in a scene, and one of the porn actors is just Marilyn Manson. He's just there.
Oh my god.
Pretty interesting. I can't fucking wait for Isle of Dogs.
I know, I love dogs too.
You absolute cunt. Why would you do this?
I love dogs. I love dogs. It's funny. It's almost like it's almost like one of those jokes or something. You know?
What now?
It's like one of those jokes I keep hearing about.
Here's a good tweet. Click on it to get the full effect because you need to see both pictures.
Let's have a fucking look. First Groot is dead. Baby Groot is his son. Oh, not Rich Evans. Oh, man.
Oh, no.
That's a shame. Fucking hell. I mean, I don't give a shit, but that's still a shame for people who care.
Yeah. It's also a shame that they care.
Yeah. I don't buy that anyway. If a phoenix turns into ashes and rises from the ashes, it's still the same phoenix, isn't it? It's not his son. It ain't a family tree.
But he's not a firebird. He is a tree.
You know what? You're splitting hairs.
Sure.
You have to fucking be pedantic.
There's a phoenix in the Phantom Pain.
Order of the Phoenix.
There's also a phoenix in the Phantom Pain, but it's not a bird, it's a whale. There is a flying fire whale in the Phantom Pain.
That's pretty cool.
Did you know that?
No.
I love Hideo Kojima so much.
Wow. Is it explained?
Of course it is.
Oh, okay.
That's how Hideo Kojima does his shit. He just makes up I mean, it's not explained well. It's just like, oh, this is why, and you're like, oh, okay, I guess. But it doesn't matter. Because
I hope Death Stranding's explained.
I mean, to a certain extent.
I guess so.
I saw this comments. The top comments on the Death Stranding trailer was Hideo Kojima. Hello, I want to make a video game. Sony. Sure, what it's about. Hideo Kojima. Yes.
Yeah.
It works so. Oh my god, that fucking trailer is so good.
Excuse me. Oh, jeez.
I love that fucking trailer so much. Oh man, I love Hideo Kojima. I love everything about him. I think it's so cool that Ground Zeroes is like a 2-hour game. And it's like the it's like the prologue to the Phantom Pain.
Yeah.
Because in the Phantom Pain you wake up from a coma. Because at the end of the old what's it called? At the end of Ground Zeroes, you crash in a helicopter, and it's so neat. He was like, "This is a little story I want to tell, so I'm going to do it as a prologue."
Yeah, it's cool. Man, do you know who Bud Lucky is?
I don't think so.
He worked at Pixar. He was the guy that designed Woody.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he died.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Well, I just read it, so I don't know. You know what? Fucking, you're not supposed to say thanks in a time like that.
I just sent that tweet that I sent to you to my friend Owen, and he just responded, "Jesus, lol." You know what else died?
Your love for life or something like that.
I mean, a long time ago, but sure.
Yeah.
No, Metal Gear.
Oh no!
I made a fucking Metal Gear zombie game. Those pieces of shit over at Konami.
I mean, I wanted to. I didn't really like the idea that people were just going to hate it based on principle, because I'm sure, despite all the politics around it, there are still hard-working people making it. You know.
Well, sure, but I mean,
it does seem like it actually is shit. I'm not gonna, you know.
I mean, it looks garbage, and I mean, you still take the job, you know.
Yeah.
Still, you still fucking take the job. You still be like, okay, this franchise got stolen from an artist.
Yeah.
And we're gonna make this cash grabs zombie game out of it. I'll stop to that.
I mean,
but the thing is, you know what's so miserable about it is, they just put the fucking team on that. They just put Kojima's old team on that, and they said, "Fucking make this bullshit. Here's a new director, make it."
Yeah.
And the thing is, you could tell You can literally tell that no one wanted to do this because there's a bit of text hidden in the game.
Yeah, I've seen it.
Oh yeah.
Kojima Productions forever.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, God bless these brave souls.
Yeah.
God bless them.
I mean, Konami. I almost said Konima or something again. But yeah, Kojima. Fuck. Konami must be pretty, like, fucking stupid. Because, like, how did they not realise maybe people would not like seeing this game be released, you know?
I mean, they don't give a fuck. They just they don't give a fuck, and they aim for the part of the market that doesn't give a fuck either, and that doesn't, think about that kind of stuff.
But, like, that's bad for business. To, like, fire Kojima and say, alright, let's work on another one. Like, people aren't going to like that. Even if the game ends up being good, it's still bad for business, like, you're doing that. Like, that. Like, surely you care about the brand to some degree. I don't understand.
I mean, they don't care about the fucking brand. They cancelled Silent Hills. They don't fucking care about anything but making money, I assume. And because they care about money and nothing else, I'm sure this was, business-wise, even with the bad PR, still a good monetary decision.
I don't know.
Because this entire fucking game is Metal Gear Solid 5 assets.
Yeah. It's
just Metal Gear Solid 5 assets. It's the same characters. It's the same places. It's the entire map is just a foggy desert, so you don't need to render anything.
Yeah.
Like, when was this game announced? Like, last year?
Yeah, I guess so.
And here it is.
Alright, I'm looking on Wikipedia. Apparently, it's gotten mixed or average reviews, and that... I don't know, I can buy that. I can buy that it's an average game. I get that people are really angry about the politics of it and the background of it, but I feel like it looks like an average game. It doesn't look like the worst thing that's ever happened. I don't know.
No, I mean, the game itself is... I'm sure the game itself is fine.
Yeah.
But...
Shouldn't exist.
The environment in which it was made is just so fucking scummy.
Exactly.
And the environment in which it was made is just so scummy. And then you'll learn things like Metal Gear Solid Survive has one save slot, but for $10 you can buy a second save slot.
Yeah.
There is a microtransaction that lets you save your game.
Yeah,
that's the kind of fucking company Konami is.
Yeah. But I don't know. I can't help but think about, like, the team making it, you know? They probably still tried, you know?
I mean, I don't know. I feel like this is just kind of like a factory line team at this point, because most of the people who working for Kojima just went with him to Kojima Productions.
That's a good point. They did, didn't they? Yeah.
I feel like, all those fucking what are they called? All those Call of Duty games, they look fine, They all look good. The music is fine, but it's just people doing a job.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think they're very invested into their product. They just make a video game and then they make another one.
I suppose. I don't know. Like, I look at DICE of Star Wars Battlefront 2, and I know that's complete. I'm not comparing it. I get this is different, but like, people shit on the game for what's wrong with it, like the microtransactions and the loot box shit. But that shit that EA forced on a really passionate studio, you know?
Yeah, that's a different situation.
Yeah.
That studio wanted to make something really cool.
Yeah.
And DICE is like, hey, fuckers.
Yeah. And although I feel like with Konami, there are a lot of fuckers there, that have making it shit. But I feel like there are genuinely hardworking, genuine, passionate people at Konami too. And
I'm sure there are.
Yeah.
You know what? The designs of the zombies, I love them.
Really?
They're really cool.
So I don't want to look at a game like Metal Gear Survive and say it was a game made by evil people, because maybe there are cynical, sinister reasons behind why it exists, but I don't know, maybe the people who directly worked on it, like if you go on Wikipedia and look at the designers, like the guys who did that Kojima Productions Forever thing, like Yota Suzu, like whatever his name is, really hard to pronounce name. Maybe he was actually kind of passionate about this, you know? Like, I don't know. I'm not saying that makes the game better than it is, but I don't want to see the game, I don't know.
I'm looking at an article right now called "The People Who Made Metal Gear Survive."
Yeah, I saw that on Google, but I didn't click on it. I will do now.
It talks a bit about how fans were really angry that this game exists. And then it asks a question. For certain fans, the first question was, who's making this?
Yeah.
A year and a half later, it's a question many still have trouble answering. While Konami has provided a few basic details on the team, it's largely kept the staff out of the public eye, choosing to focus on the game itself.
Mm.
The company has set up very few interviews to promote the game. It's left staff credits out of the trailers. It's renamed the team internally to sound like part of an assembly line production Studio 8. And externally to go by the same name as the rest of the company, Konami Digital Entertainment. Even the press release... Even the press release announcing the game featured a quote from the president of Konami European division rather than a member of the development team.
I think Konami will get back on track. I think there'll be a change in management. Someone will step down, someone else will take their place and right the wrongs, I think.
The entire situation is so interesting because
it is.
So much stuff is just like nonsensical.
Yeah.
Like I from a company perspective, I kind of understand why you wouldn't want a Hideo Kojima on these Metal Gear games anymore. Because Metal Gear Solid 5 is one of the most expensive games ever made. Yeah. And it made so much money because it's a great game. But it's also a great risk.
I mean, Konami... sorry, go on.
Kojima has always been a great risk, where he makes Metal Gear and it's this great like espionage game. And the second game is basically... hey, I know people have really high expectations, so I'm gonna purposefully disappoint everyone as like a statement and make that the theme of the entire story.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I get that he's like a risk that up until this point has paid off every time, but I get why a company would be like, okay, we're done. But the way they did it was really weird. The way he wasn't allowed to receive his award for Metal Gear Solid 5. He got like a notice from...
yeah, wasn't allowed, yeah.
From fucking lawyers of Konami, like, you cannot get this award. It's yours, but you can't, like, accept it on stage.
So shitty. And
then you cancel... like... how much money had already gone into Silent Hills? I know. Because you had Norman Reedus. You had him already do tons of mocap. You had Ito, the manga guy. Yeah. You had Guillermo del Toro. You had Kojima. Oh. You had a couple of really famous like artists make music for the game, I believe. You made PT, which blew up the internet, and it was made in a way that no other game was ever developed. Like,
exactly.
With the realistic graphics. Like, all of that stuff had to be developed. So I can only imagine tons of money was already pumped into Silent Hills, and then they just cancel it.
Doesn't make sense, yeah.
It doesn't make sense. And then they turn it into a slot machine, and the fans get really angry. And I'm like, I guess, and everyone's like, okay, they're just going to make slot machines now. And I'm like, I assume they made that slot machine because they needed money because they pumped so much into Silent Hills already. Yeah.
I mean, they even fucked over Metal Gear Solid 5. Like,
they did, yeah. It misses an entire chapter.
Yeah, and I remember reading stories about it. Like, they wouldn't let Kojima even talk to his team while they were working on it or something. Like even before they fired him, they were being complete pieces of shit, and it's so strange. I really don't understand it.
Yeah, I don't know. It's so bizarre. But it's also Kojima is a money-making machine.
Yeah, he is.
Like, immediately Sony was like, here's a couple millions, make a new game, here's a new studio, set up a new studio. And, like, fucking stocks go up. Sony stocks go up. Because Hideo Kojima's working for them.
Yeah.
He's making this game, and everyone's so excited about it. All of these A-list people are in this game.
Exactly, yeah. Like, he's like this. He's like a fucking gaming industry rock star,
Basically.
Like, just having his name attached to shit. I feel like Kojima will never have a flop,
No.
I mean, a financial flop.
No, well, he has stated that if he makes a game that's a failure, he will quit the industry.
Yeah. His games will always sell well, at the very least.
Yeah.
Maybe he'll go off the deep end and make a game that isn't very good, but it will still sell well. Like, he'll always... I feel like financial numbers, that will never be an issue. So I don't know if I buy that as... I'm not saying that is what you're saying it is, but if Konami were to say they fired him for financial reasons, I don't think I'd buy that.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why they did fire him. No one really knows. I saw another Bunny Hop video on that. It's like this super long analysis where he talks with like Japanese industry people.
I don't know if I saw all of that. Yeah, he's really interesting, yeah. I remember at least seeing a part of that. I think I saw all of it.
Yeah. Kojima versus Konami, an investigation. Oh, it's only 8 minutes long. I thought it was longer.
Oh, yeah, I would have seen it all then.
And it's so strange, especially because Konami is the company that paid for Silent Hill 2. They are the company that paid for all the Metal Gear games. All these really weird experimental games. Like Silent Hill 2 is just an art game. Yeah. It's a AAA art game. It's like Journey or like Flower or like The Witness, but with a AAA budget. And they just did that, and it worked out great. And then all of a sudden they turn this switch and they cancel everything. I don't know, it's really weird.
It's strange. I think that whoever's in charge, like whoever's the big CEO of Konami, he needs to step down, because these decisions are unnecessarily evil, Like apparently, like they used to like monitor staff, like it's almost like an Orwellian 1984 degree, like they would like, oh god.
Oh yeah, I've heard of the working conditions there.
Yeah, exactly, and it's like that. Like I don't know, like there is someone with authority at Konami who must have some mental illness developing. They are not fit to run the company if that's how they're doing it.
Yeah, well, the thing is, more than 50%, I believe, of Konami's income is from pachinko machines in Japan. So it could be that they just switch over to pachinko machines. Because there is a Metal Gear pachinko machine.
Yeah, I don't doubt it, yeah.
There is a Metal Gear pachinko machine which has cutscenes in it. That is the cutscenes from Metal Gear 1 remade with like PlayStation 4 graphics. And they look really good, and they're extremely detailed, and there's clearly like a team behind that really wanted to make it look good. But it's for a fucking pachinko machine.
Yeah. I mean, that's like a different department almost. I feel like, like I don't know. The guys making pachinko machines probably aren't the same guys that are in charge of like making the games themselves. I feel like that's like another department. It's like weird to even like.
Oh no, not the pachinko machines, but like the cutscenes.
Oh right.
Were made with the Fox engine.
Oh yeah. But I just looked it up. Apparently, Konami's new CEO, Hideki Hayakawa, he started in May 2015. So that kind of...
Working on the game, or like as a director of video games?
He became the CEO of Konami. It says, Konami's new president, blah, 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 29th of May 2015. So that kind of like lines up. Like that's about when Konami started going to shit, wasn't it? 2015.
I guess, yeah.
So like this Hideki Hayakawa, or however you pronounce his name, is really, I don't know. Yeah, and it's around then that people started making videos calling out Konami, like around that exact time too.
Weird.
I don't know, it's definitely interesting, like you said.
Real weird.
Real spooky.
I'm glad Kojima just got his own studio now, though.
Yeah, I mean, if anything, he now has more freedom than ever, doesn't he?
He does, I guess.
So
yeah.
I guess it works out for the best. I think Kojima will make another Metal Gear. It won't be for a long, long time, but
Well,
like,
he doesn't want to make Metal Gear anymore.
Well, I think
He said he made the 2 on the Amiga, then he made the one on the PlayStation, and then he said, okay, Metal Gear 2 is going to be my last Metal Gear. Then he made Metal Gear, the 3rd one, and he said, okay, this is going to be the last one. Then he made the 4th one, which is a really weird story, because he's trying to tie up every possible plot point. And then Konami's like, make another one. And he's like, okay, 5's going to be the last one. And 5 is actually the last one.
How do you know? From a story standpoint, I mean.
I mean, from a story standpoint, it's just done. Everything is wrapped up. Big Boss is literally a demon at the end.
Okay.
He's got a fucking horn growing out of his head. But no, yeah, it's been like public knowledge for a while that Kojima really didn't want to make Metal Gears anymore for a pretty long while.
Okay.
That's why it was like, oh, I'll make this entire game about the villain, Big Boss, who has an army of child soldiers.
Well, who knows? I'm going to say it anyway just because I have a hunch. I think he might do. I think definitely not with the current climate of Konami, but I think there'll come a day where Konami is, you know, they reboot themselves and it's like, hey, why don't you work with us and make another Metal Gear? It's been like 10 years. And he'll be like, okay, it's been a long time. I have some ideas I could do. I don't know.
Maybe he'll, in like 10 or 20 years, he's like, you know what? I do want to make another one.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I can see why he would not want to be anywhere near Konami right now, but he probably doesn't want to touch Metal Gear. But yeah, I think Death Stranding, in a way, the existence of Death Stranding is thanks to Konami, you know?
I guess, yeah, in a way.
So, like, whatever this game ends up being, I am going to thank Konami for it more than I will Kojima.
I mean, it's a free country, I guess. I suppose I can't stop you.
I suppose I can't kill you in time. Very extreme reaction. Yeah, I don't know. Don't know where I was going with that. It's not going to happen anytime soon, though, Death Stranding. Well, it's not going to be released anytime soon. That's the annoying thing. Because it's only just building up, like, the cast.
Yeah, pretty much.
They're not even started doing motion capping yet. Or I think they've only just started. Like, how many fucking years is it going to be?
I mean, we don't even know what kind of game it's going to be.
No. Apparently it's definitely not going to be a horror. But I kind of think it probably will end up being kind of horror-y.
A little bit, I feel.
Yeah. Because I think, like, he's got, like, a lot of, like, creative energy just unused due to Silent Hills not being made. So I'm sure, like, he's going to transfer some of those ideas.
I'm sure, yeah. Or maybe he's like, I just want to start with a, like, clean slate. I could get that as well. So much drama behind the scenes.
That's,
so just like,
yeah.
Start off fresh.
Yeah. Death Stranding will be big feature humor, and horror is not Oh wait, hold on. What was the fight? That doesn't even make sense. Oh, and it's not a horror game. Okay. Death Stranding release date. I mean, I'm going to say this. I don't think it's even going to come out on the PS4.
No, you think it's like PS5?
Yeah, I do. Considering how like early in development it is, and the PS4's already been out for quite a few years, like 2013, I think. It's like 5 years this year. Then, yeah, I think it'll be PS5.
Maybe, yeah, that could be.
PS4 release date.
Death Stranding could be like that game that pushes the graphical limitations.
I think it will be, yeah. I think that's what he's going to want it to be. I think it's going to be like the new Last Guardian of like, oh, will we see it this year, maybe? I don't fucking know. Alright, you have seen Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, haven't you?
Nope.
You've seen Lost in Translation.
Yes.
You've seen Wild at Heart.
I have.
I guess it's a stupid question asking which one I should watch first, because you're probably going to say your favourite David Lynch film.
I mean, my favorite David Lynch film is, of course, Wonderful, but I also really, really like
Lost in Translation.
Lost in Translation.
Yeah.
I'd say go with Wild at Heart first.
Okay. Okay. I can't wait. I know nothing. Absolutely nothing about it.
Oh, perfect.
How does it end?
It turns into it turns into the Wizard of Oz.
Okay.
And then the fairy is like, it's me, the fairy from the Wizard of Oz.
Good.
Remember me.
It turns out it was all just set in the Ratchet and Clank universe.
We're still talking about Wild at Heart here?
Yep. It was set in the Ratchet and Clank universe. Oh god.
Hey guys, welcome back to iDubbbz TV. Today I have with me Gus Johnson. We're gonna play the What's in the Box challenge. Forward. Oh my god! Alright, don't pee. I have one. Oh. Okay.
I'm sorry, what?
Guilbo Bell Bingy.
Good.
Yes.
Yeah.
Am I getting close?
Bingo Bell Bingy.
What are these, sunglasses? You can't just grab at the item immediately and just like, you have to like ham it up.
Bilgo
Bilby Spinby. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the stage. You get his name that wrong. Bilby Spingby. Bilbus Quilbus.
Well,
Is that it? Okay.
that's it.
Bu- Quingulon.
Well,
You really attached to that one. I really like Quingulon, but you're right. Boop is good too.
well.
Welcome to the stage, Boop.
Thanks. He speaks in one word at a time.
It takes him like 20 minutes to get up to the stage. Thanks. He just leaves.
Like he's in a wheelchair, but he's adamant about using the stairs.
Yeah.
And it's a stage, so it's just like 4 steps, but he's in a wheelchair, so it takes like 10 minutes, and he's just like, hey. And then he just rolls himself off the stage, and you just hear him like.
He falls down backwards, like going upstairs like 4 times. And everyone's silently watching, like, right, is this going to be the Titan? Nah, he fell again. Okay. Why is he in a wheelchair? Oh. Hello, everybody. It's me, Quingulon.
Hey.
He says hey and leaves, not even thanks. Hey, and then just leaves.
He says hey and drives off the stage, and he's in the wheelchair, so he just face first, like, falls on the floor. Just over the edge, not even a second of hesitation.
Way too fast to be controlled. I like an award ceremony where everyone just says one word each. Like Jeff Keighley's like, but like Guillermo del Toro comes on stage and says, "Hey," and then
Hey, 15 minutes of applause.
What if you walked up to the stage and then just
Nearly
walked?
2 million live viewers.
Yeah, and then like instead of like wheelchairing off the edge of the stage, just walks off the edge and falls. As if he's like gonna. Imagine if he tries to do like a stage dive. And because it's that kind of like awards ceremony and everyone's sitting down, obviously no one sees it coming, so he just falls. He does a stage dive. He says hey, and then it does a step. Hey. And then leaps on someone.
I just imagine he just starts like sprinting, like fucking like smacks the microphone out of the way, and he just starts sprinting. he has like 5 solid seconds of airtime because he jumps with like all of the fucking powers he has in his body.
5 seconds is a hell of a long time to be in the air. Oh my gosh. Imagine like when like Jeff Keighley or whatever's like, but and like he starts coming on stage, he sprints all the way up to the stage. He just runs into the mic and off the other side of the stage. He just doesn't stop. He never stops sprinting. Like really manic, like an Olympic level of sprinting.
Olympic sprint towards the Oscar, grabs it, like snatches it out of the hand of the presenter. And he dives off the stage, like hits his face, immediately breaks the Oscar, and just goes sits back down and gives his wife a kiss.
The thought of someone sprinting like a maniac on stage. Yeah. And like the fucking microphone stand just goes like just fucking catapults away.
Please come to the stage. Ryan Johnson. You just hear like Like you hear him walking.
Yeah.
You hear him like
Yeah.
coming up.
He speeds up, yeah.
You know that scene in The Lion King where they hear the buffaloes coming. Like, you
Yeah.
can't see that. It's that, but it's just Ryan Johnson.
An entire wildebeest like sound. And like he's got like one of those mics that are on his like lapel, so you hear him perfectly, like the entire time, and his feet like running the entire time.
Oh, there's like mud on his shoes. Like he leaves behind like a trail of mud. Like he just ran from his house and timed it perfectly.
But I like the idea that he doesn't even pick up anything. He just runs across the stage, off backstage, and just doesn't stop running. And he just fucking flies into the mic stand and destroys the mic. He just runs through it.
Like swan dives into like swan dives into a table with champagne glasses on it.
As if like he's going to McDonald's and the stage is just like a shortcut. He just
McDonald's closes in 10 minutes.
Oh my god! I'm picturing like the fucking like the most manic, like his arms are like manic as well, like the most insane, frantic running you can ever imagine. Like faster than should be humanly capable.
Oh yeah, no, it's like even if he wanted to stop, he couldn't. He's going to stop. Like if a child would jump in front of him, he would have to run it over. He couldn't stop.
Yeah, he would be immediately like they'd both die on impact.
like a ripe tomato just explode.
Yeah. Oh my god. Oh Jesus Christ.
That's what happens to you when you make a Star Wars movie.
Yeah. That's the risk you run. Anyway, the next award.
You already hear someone else coming, like running up. Anyway, the next award will be given out in about 10 minutes, and like some staff people pull up like one of those acrobat things, like one of those like poles that you do
Yeah.
flips on.
Yeah.
Please welcome to the stage Guillermo del Toro, and like he fucking swirls through the air, like triple fucking flip, lands on the fucking Olympic thing, does a couple of spins, like his feet knock over all the Oscars, they all break.
He's so big as well, that's the thing. Imagine him like being that nimble and fast as he flies through the air.
Makes like a perfect landing too. He's like,
yeah, like really delicate.
and he walks off the stage, almost trips over all the Oscars he broke.
Yeah. And then like, all right,
Walks back to the microphone. Someone please clean that up, thanks.
Yeah. Like the next award, just for like normal like outstanding achievement, like this old woman that's been in the industry for like 50 years, and she comes on stage like, well, thank you everyone. Then Ryan Johnson coming back, fucking sprints into her, fucking kills her on impact.
Sucker punches her
With his head.
like so. Just imagine him like. It looks like he's made out of rubber. Like he just fucking swings his head.
I just like meant like from the sheer like running speed, like but yeah, he swings his fucking head.
He uses his head as like a club.
Yeah. Oh my god. Ryan Johnson, like an industry favourite. I always like inviting him to these events.
It's never boring. Christ.
Hey, what do you think of Ryan Johnson's films? Is he the guy that ran into an old woman on stage and killed her? Yeah, that's him. Yeah, Last Jedi was okay.
I like the smaller projects. You know, Brick was really good.
Really interested to see what he's doing next.
What would he be like on set, like directing you?
Probably horrifying. Probably never standing still.
He's got like one of those, like, you know, those mouse wheels that mouses can run in forever.
Yeah.
He's got one of those like in his hotel room and one on set.
He can never stay still ever. Oh, that's horrible. Yeah, and that's like
he's cursed by an Egyptian god.
Yeah. Yeah, that's in the IMDb trivia for Ryan Johnson. Yeah, did you know he has to run forever? Oh, I didn't know that. That's cool. He has to run forever. Jesus.
It's written exactly like that. Yeah, did you know he like has to run forever?
Full stop. 70 out of 70 people found this interesting.
It's the Oscars. The winner of Best Picture will be revealed in just a couple of minutes. You already see staff like bring a treadmill onto the stage, and everyone's like, "Oh, you spoiled it."
Yeah, they like it like the Oscars when they're giving the nominations, and then it shows like it shows a shot of them in the audience, like, "Oh, I hope it's me." It says like Ryan Johnson. Then it shows a shot of him like on like a busy street, like.
I love it.
Oh, I wish I was. I completely agree with everything you've said, but it's such a good song, though.
Anyway, I'm gonna go sleep.
No, you can't do that. I won't let you. I'd like to see you try.
I'll try.
Alright, do it. Oh wait, you can't pick up, can he? No, never mind. Oh, I wish I was a punk rocker with